enter the draft for Game 3. The Lucian that you mentioned already banned away by BLG.
Yeah, so now where does the Prio go? Maybe Pantheon is something that BLG want to start with. As the Nocturne's banned, there's no answer into it. It's going to be the Syndra. This was banned away in game number 2. And this is a flex, but I would imagine Night Syndra is what he's going to take. With Orianna banned, maybe you're going towards the Victor answer. But, I mean, talking about bot lanes, if the Kalista Renata has started to rise back up in priority, Poppy's off the table. That's a great pick into the Kalista. There's not really a whole lot left into this that can actually survive. Draven Blitzcrank, Draven Nautilus is playable. You could go a Varus lane and try to live, but because we're going on, because we're going lethality, not on hit, you'll get outscaled, you'll get out team fought. This is a great question that LGD have now asked. There's the Pantheon that I was talking about. Maybe just go full topside here. Lock in something like a Scion for Ben.
For 2 games in a row, LGD's job has been to attack the top lane. And BLG, this time, they are the ones taking that on. As you mentioned, it is full topside. Jace, he is like the stereotypical winning top laner. What do LGD pick into it?
Nasus, please. I've been checking some pro player solo queue accounts. It's getting picked into Jace, this top lane Nasus. I don't know if it's actually getting picked, but I like it into Syndra. I love it into Jace. Gonna be the Yorick. And this is the standard answer.
Yep.
It's good, but I've seen it go horribly wrong with the Yorick, because it loses early game, right? The Yorick is not a winning lane until later. And the Jace gets so fed, the Yorick can never even start to play the game. And then you have so much less impact in the team fight. The cage can be nice, but you really want to be in a side lane winning. And against the Kalista Renata, that wants the team fight, the juxtaposition of these two styles is not something that I'm driving with too heavily. On the other side, I love Syndra, Jace, Pantheon. I think that you can go towards some more engage as well. Get Viper on something like even maybe a Sivir is okay. Maybe that's playable against the Kalista. Although I would imagine that in the all-ins, not the best. But yeah, I think for LGD, they really need something to tie this draft together, because you're getting it out-rotated as jungle. You're getting it out, ganked because he's got the ult. You really want to play around this 2v2 all-in. Syndra's very scary and can really lock down a Kalista. Maybe an Annie is something that you want, but I think that might be a bit tough to lane into the Syndra. So I think your options are waning here. I love the Kalista Renata, but I think this draft is going to need something to really tie it together.
Yeah, and BLG are just so confident with the Pantheon that I'm scared for LGD, especially because they are missing a lot of their comfort champions, but wondering where exactly we'll go. I'm thinking with Nocturne already banned away, it makes things even more difficult. Skarner taken out as well with the second round of bans and Trundle joining him. The pool is just so pinched that we're going to end up going Maokai as a last resort for LGD. Still a lot of CC to bring to the table, still can back up things like the Renata Kalista, but is it a top tier jungler? I can't lie to you and say yes.
Yeah, LGD's comp is feeling a little all over the place. I think more than anything, this is kind of a takeaway, because normally it's like Jace Syndra with Maokai is really nice, and you could maybe put the Maokai support and get that kind of same vibe, but Corki looks pretty good here. Short range, sure. Corki Nami, very scary bot lane. I think the Kalista Renata mid game is still scarier, but later on this draft is very intense from BLG. The Vex would be fun, but I think the Victor makes the most sense. Just have that range, and I think that LGD's draft is all over the place. They've got this Kalista Renata. You want to be pushing and winning, but then Maokai, not the most aggressive jungler. I mean, this will add some spice into it and give that carry pop-up potential that we want Tangyuan back on.
Yeah.
But I really love BLG's draft. I think the Jace is scary. The Pantheon is really nice. Works well with the Syndra. This Corki Nami is going to scale really well. I'm a huge fan of this BLG draft.
Yeah, BLG have my favor, and I would say especially with the LeBlanc lock-in, LGD have my attention. I'm curious what it'll look like with Tangyuan on another champion that, like the Akali, can outplay, but we have to remember that it took him a long time to get to a confident position in Game 1 in order to do that. And if it takes him that long again, the game is going to be over.
Yeah, I really think that LGD need to get accelerated in the early game. I think that if this game goes really long, the LeBlanc, like, you can find great angles, and I believe the Tangyuan can do it, but it becomes a lot harder for her to play these fights out when there's so much CC and peel with the Syndra, the Pantheon, the Nami there. And for the Kalista Renata, if you're not getting accelerated in the early game, you are going to fall behind the pace. Sure, a hostile takeover is good, but I don't really think it's the biggest game changer here when the Pantheon is ulting on your head and jumping over it. I think it's a tough game for LGD, to say the least, in this third game.
Every time you load onto the Rift, no matter who you are in the LPL, when you're on against BLG, it feels like you're loading in at a disadvantage. And with this draft, that disadvantage seems even heavier. Can LGD rise to the challenge? Will they climb the mountain today? Or will BLG push them back down to the bottom? We got to find out in game number 3. There is going to be an early advantage. I would love it to be bot side. Shaoye and Crisp have been some of the best performers of the day, especially if we think about their performance throughout the game, from minute 0 to whenever the game ends. Shaoye and Crisp have just been really solid, really rocks of the LGD roster. To see them be able to carry a little bit more weight this time would be fantastic. But it is against Corki Nami.
Double exhaust on the bot laners too. Kind of interesting. Exhaust in the Kalista makes a ton of sense, and one of those things where you kind of want to match the exhaust or go cleanse. Instead, it seems like Shaoye opts for the match angle. He doesn't really want the cleanse. I think it's a good cleanse game. You know, good into the exhaust, good into the... I think, was he spotted or no?
No, it missed him. This is that is bad. This is a dead bot lane. Flash forward from Shun. It feels almost like too much, but a flash forward and a bubble is going to be enough to secure it. That is a beautiful and crafty first blood from BLG.
I mean, the kill doesn't go over to Corki, so it's not, you know, the end of the world, but it's really bad. I was talking about LGD's draft needing to get going early, start building up a lead, and already in mid lane is suffering, but bot lane mostly. That is a really unfortunate timing for Shaoye, and all four, I mean, the same for Viper and On, but their survivability is a lot better. No flashes on any of the bot laners, no combat summoners. If I'm these junglers, I am going back down there very quickly.
Everything out of Shaoye and Crisp just to die to that, and you gotta really feel betrayed by the Sentinel in that moment. Shaoye had the right idea, had the right timing, the correct read on where Shun was gonna be, and just missed out on getting the exact right angle on the information. Gonna take some trades with Bin right now, who has been winning the matchup pretty well. The shield helping Burdol out quite a bit, of course, but Bin is on Jace, and you pick Jace not just to win the lane, but to make sure that the enemy top laner suffers while you do it.
Yeah, like a pretty common answer, but yeah, it's going to take some time before that really comes through. Probably level 6 is where we'll see Shun visit down on the bot lane again. Although, I say that, he is here. He'll be spotted on this ward, so Shaoye and Crisp will be very aware that they need to walk away. And Or at least back up a little bit, play safe. Shun ends up going for the Krugs. So, not going to be too scary in the bot lane other than that. And Shaoye and Crisp can maintain their pressure in this early game.
Nice handshake from Crisp.
Tough start for Tangyuan in the mid lane, I have to say. He is getting stacked against, and going to be some time before he can, find Knight in these solo kill angles. And he has, done that already in this game. Nice bubble from On. But, yeah, BLG are a team that, I mean, everyone kind of likes them. We've seen what they've done internationally this year. They've been very successful. And in this third split, they have had some lulls. But like you mentioned earlier, it is the expectation that they are, in the finals at least, Shun is snuck into this bot brush. He can even sneak around the back, and it looks like that is what he's doing. Ooh. Unspotted.
Even without flash, this is a great angle. LGD are going to move up to the dragon. So Shun departs the bush, gets spotted on his way up, but this is already halfway gone. LGD should be able to secure it, especially with the Rend.
Oh, early.
See if they're actually able to. Tangyuan absorbs a lot of the focus from Shun. Dragon goes over to LGD, but the team fight maybe not going to go that way. Shaoye unable to get the kill and the reset, so it'll be 2 kills to BLG, both of them going to Shun in response for this Dragon. A trade, I would say that favors BLG.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't want to say that the game is falling away in front of us right now, but I am not a huge fan of the later this LGD draft goes at parity. I think it's really hard for the Kalista to play fights against things like Pantheon, against Nami Wave, against Syndra. Tangyuan goes in, buys some time. The Ren Smite wasn't even used correctly, but they end up getting the Dragon. But again here, really tough for this bot lane to play out the fights against these, against the CC from this draft. Love the Corky replay bug as well in my ear. Yeah, not the best position for LGD. The game is still close in terms of gold, like individually, but 1k lead for BLG overall, and doesn't really feel like it's going to get a whole lot easier from here on out unless LGD can really start turning it around individually.
And that's the thing when you're facing up against BLG is the fact that even at this point, it's an uphill battle. You can feel the weight of BLG in this game, even with that advantage on any other team being one that you go, well, maybe we can overcome this. You add to that the composition that BLG are running. It looks so good for them. Again, Sentinel gonna miss Shun. He is playing very well around Vision this game, including the minions in that as well, as we saw towards the bot lane. Shun is clearly feeling creative on the Pantheon, and maybe a little bit like a violent Bob Ross gonna storm his way through this game.
He's playing like a old PlayStation 2 game. You know, we have to like avoid the lights. I was watching a playthrough of a Madagascar game, and I was just shocked at how unimpressed I was compared to how much I loved the game as a kid. I've seen it on Twitter a bit, like, maybe you've seen it, is it Melman, the giraffe Melman? I don't know, I can't remember. Yeah. His ability to spin his legs around and fly.
Yeah.
Bit of an interesting one, for sure.
I mean, I thought that was a piece of visual genius, if I'm honest. I don't.
Oh, you know the game I'm talking about?
I could see this being an issue, though, as Shun showing up in the top side is going to help Bin get a little further ahead, because this is a dead Yorick. And a dead Yorick in a losing matchup will probably become that way again.
Yeah, the level 6 from Shun comes through and able to get that first ult value. Crisp hovers here in mid and comes for a little visit as Shun didn't actually see who got that grub, but Heng not in the best position.
Got to disengage. Fortunately, Bubble's going to go wide on him, but that means that at least 2 Void Grubs will go the way of BLG, and we'll get to see in the UI in a second whether they managed to secure all 3, as that was, as you mentioned, pretty close.
And BLG just continue to come up winning. Bit of an awkward flush bubble there from On. But still, LGD feels like they're just getting squeezed out. That they're looking for players, and the bot lane 2v2. I think this is a good look of what we wanted. The Kalista Renata, but then the gank from Shun. That fight, they get Dragon, but then they lose multiple members. They look for grubs, they get 0. It just feels like, LGD are looking for plays and angles in this game, but BLG are meeting them at the play and then kind of strangling them out here.
And it is a series, and it is a game. It is going to feel like that. If LGD are going to find their way back, it will be in a team fight around what I'd imagine is a Dragon. Next one's coming up in 30 seconds, and LGD put a lot of priority on Dragon last time that this spawned. They can give up the second Drake should they want, but as we saw in Game 2, soul stacking is such a powerful way to get your way back into a game that if I'm LGD, a single slackening of the rope from BLG. I see Shun topside ganking my Yorick again. That Dragon is mine.
Yeah. Be a good soul as well as Heng finds the Nature's Grasp.
Nobody else is here, by the way. This is no damage for the side of LGD. Trying to hold on for a little while as Shaoye does appear on the fight, but that's about enough time for Viper to show up here as well, and even a flash from Shaoye not going to save him. LGD start a fight they cannot finish, and as a result, lose their AD carry and the Dragon.
I just want to clarify, Heng starts a fight that he can't finish. Again, very similar to the Poppy look. Like you mentioned, LGD just not there. We're talking about Dragon stacking potentially being a win con for LGD. Now that's gone as well. BLG will deny the stacking pretty early in the game. Get the first one for them as we see what soul it is. And it is Cloud Soul on Corki Nami Pantheon. Very scary. But yeah, LGD, it just feels like for me time's running out. I'm sure there is an angle where LGD can look for a team fight around maybe the next Dragon, but they're really not fighting coherently after the middle, of Game 2. Feels like it's bleeding into Game 3 here, and BLG feel way back on track. Their early game is looking much more solid than the series has shown us such far. And I'm just not sure that this LGD comp really functions in a mostly coherent way. Burdol isn't winning in the side lane yet. Tangyuan is losing. Shaoye and Crisp are really losing, and that's a massive disadvantage. You really want this Kalista Renata to be winning.
Shaoye being 0-3 right now does not feel like he's going to have that impact. First items we are still waiting for, mostly across the board, although we are starting to hit them, especially with Heng and Tangyuan starting to pick up theirs. Worth noting that with Heng going the very popular Liandry's on Maokai is not going to be a tank this game. And you look across at the massive amount of damage that BLG have. And even though Liandry's on Maokai is nice, I start thinking maybe no tank is going to be a little bit of a problem.
Shun and Knight are roaming, maybe just for this blue buff, but obviously the Grand Starfield can join at any time. Just to be the blue buff invade. Knight wants the blue buff as well. And will get such, but yeah, not the position you want to be in this lane. Shaoye is going to really, really struggle. Look at the item disparity already between these two bot laners. Taking this base might even mean the full tower as well. Maybe not. The Corki mana fairly low, so we'll just be able to channel a base.
If BLG are able to win this game, how does that make you feel about the rest of their week? Because we did talk about this series as setting expectations for BLG as they fight for first with this final week of the LPL.
Well, I mean, AL Top Esports was pretty close. BLG did lose to Top Esports last time they met. And BLG do have like their most difficult week here. Getting pressed by LGD now, and then up against -1. Both AL and top esports. I think for me, going into that series, I would feel cautious. Not confident, really, that BLG are going to win it. I don't think they're going to win it convincingly if they do win. I really think for me, the biggest thing is top lane is so unstable, and their early games in this series have been looking a little bit iffy. That fight in game 1 as well at the end where they took that. And looking at how aggressive Tarzan and Tian have been, I think I'm really happy I get to talk about this. I think Shaoye is the best top laner in the league, and I don't even think it's close. On's caught here by the cage. Does have flash, so should be able to get out. Herald started up by BLG. Maybe just left. But yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest problem for BLG against top esports specifically, is that I think Shaoye is a really talented player. And I'm really excited to see how, whether it's, Bin or Flandre, how that matchup goes, because I think that Shaoye showed that he was much better than Breathe in that series.
And Bin has taken this series, at the very least, to both stumble and to maybe warm up a bit. The Jace is something that, throughout the season, I could see him doing both well and poorly on, depending on the matchup. And in this particular game, it feels like he's been afforded a lot of room to warm up, to get his confidence back on stage. And though the first game may not have been exactly what he was looking for, the subsequent two, Bin has just looked like the better top laner so far. Burdol has not been able to, even encounter matchups, really make the Yorick, or in the last game, Yone, look good. Not even look effective, just look good at all. And hoping that he gets a chance at this again on the Yorick. The rest of LGD, however, do grab a free dragon. BLG have to have known that this was going over. They didn't make any plays that intentionally sacrificed this Drake for, say, a kill on the top side, but giving over the dragon is a free and clear decision by BLG to not fight this one, and I have to wonder why.
Yeah, just happy to scale and take some bases, not happy with the position. Play the game slower. Which means, Thea, that we get to chat to each other more.
You're going to tell me about the Madagascar game.
Exactly, yes. Yeah, played that a ton as a kid. Now, I have one of the games that I played when I was, one of the first games I played, was this game called Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights. Don't know if you have ever heard of it. But hang on.
I mean, Burdol is probably dead. We'll see if they can turn it around. Heng shows up. Burdol gets out. That is an ult and a flash from Shun gotten for the flash from Burdol. So I could count this as a small victory for LGD. It appears that they, like Melvin, have sort of jumped and twirled in a circle and escaped certain doom.
Wait, which Melvin? The caster?
No.
Oh, wait, I'm so stupid. We're talking about the game. You're right. I'm thinking...
I mean, I'm not saying that Melvin, the commentator, cannot do this. I have never seen Melvin attempt to fly by jumping up in the air and
I was just like, I've never seen that, and I thought I missed the clip of him jumping in a circle. TP in top. Burdol under fire again. Probably dead this time.
Flashless, yeah. No Melvin-like performances to come out of him now. Plus 370 for Bin, and Burdol is getting abused.
What was your first, maybe not first, but what was your first real favorite game that you played when you were younger?
There's a real favorite. I mean, I played all the Harry Potter games.
Ooh, okay.
Like those were actually like...
I played the Lego ones.
Yeah, I liked the Lego games as well. I think I played some of the Lego Star Wars. Recently, because I didn't really have access to a lot of games as a kid, I played the occasional one. Because I didn't have access to a lot, I missed out on some classics, and one of those was God of War. And so I decided that I was going to play God of War last week. I haven't finished it. I just got a couple hours in. And I checked when it came out. That game came out in like 2005 or something. And as I was playing it, I was like, you know, this is a pretty good game. Like, this is even for right now, this is a good game. If that game came out in 2005, it would have blown my bananas away. That like, oh my god, what a technical marvel in 2005?
Yeah. I remember it, sorry, I don't remember because I was 4 at the time. Sure. I remember watching a video about that it was a masterpiece for its time, and in fact is kind of, if I'm right, if I remember correctly, what created the Dark Souls genre. And Dark Souls was coming out at the same time and did not hold up at all to like you said, the technological level that God of War was at. But then obviously it became a hood classic of its own for different reasons, because it's very difficult and more such and such about the time. I think, yeah, the one that I really remember playing early was the Scooby-Doo game. And I've watched long plays of it since. It's great. So I was watching a long play of this Madagascar game. Definitely not as good as I remember it. But the Scooby-Doo one, I would recommend that. I would go back and play that. I would play it if I had a PS2 or if my old PS2 worked. I still have the game, but yeah, PS2 not working as much as it used to.
No, hasn't held up.
Not as much, no. My Xbox definitely also not as good. My PS3 not too bad. But yeah, the PS2. Herald the mid. This is pretty early. I don't know if this is actually crashing. Just gonna be mid prio, and we may be seeing LGD give this dragon, and we're sitting at 2 dragons.
Wait.
Okay, this will crush.
That was actually a very well-timed Herald. It didn't run into the minion wave at all. It just got the crash off, and that's free gold for BLG. They didn't even have to do anything. They cleared the mid wave, dropped a Herald, and W gold. 18 seconds on Drake now as well. Bounties on almost everyone, and second item complete on Knight as well. That guy will blow someone up, and that someone might just be Heng.
He's trying.
Forced to flash away on the Maokai. Certainly not going to get access to the pit. Will he eat the ult from Knight? Press the R button.
Bye-bye.
He's not even going to do it. That's disrespectful.
He didn't even need to unleash his power. That was leashed power, Knight. And he did that much damage. Pretty scary. He's also going Ludens, like not the Blackfire build, so he'll do more burst damage in general. But has less, overall ability haste. And is going towards, I believe, like a Shadow Flame. Bit of an interesting build from Knight. Really nice Scout of the Week stun. Fell onto Heng. Flash is forced. Yeah, can't really get away. You were talking about the not so much tanky build that this Maokai is going, and yeah, really felt here, I'm sure, by Heng with the full AP. And LGD down 7,500. I mean, this is the part of the game, if you know what I'm talking about, where we start talking about tiramisu.
I do, unfortunately, have Twitter.
If we were to talk about it, this would be the time.
Yeah, because I mean, LGD, they are being crushed by the weight of the BLG boulder right now, and with power still leashed, he did use that elsewhere. Knight is going to help pick up another kill. That is a 7, nearly 8,000 gold lead. 2 dragons picked up. We have crested 20 minutes, so we get another pick like that on a Heng. Baron is gone, and the tiramisu is tasty.
I've actually never had it, but Knight is having some kills here.
Is it as delicious as that play? Some tiramisu is.
I've never had it. I actually don't know what it is. I know it's really popular, and I know Orcs really likes it, but I've never had it.
Is it fair? I think I'm being judgmental, and I'm trying to work on it. So
that's okay. No, it is something that is okay to be judgmental.
Yeah. Listen.
I'll have to work on myself. Look, I'll wait till the off season. Instead of working on my casting, I'm just gonna have a really solid take on tiramisu, and I'll get back to you for next year.
Yeah, yeah. As we've come to learn by the internet, knowledge about tiramisu and casting knowledge, those are interchangeable.
They are, apparently.
At
The cursed
level.
knowledge of tiramisu.
You can do whatever you want. I'm actually low-key worried I'm going to get in trouble. I need to shut I need to be quiet. As it is, BLG have, you guys all saw it, taken sincere control of this game. We've got a Baron that was easily taken for BLG. Knight will one-shot literally anyone. Viper's not really getting to do that much because LGD have to stay so far away from them. And Shun, he's got ult to start a fight at any time. It looks like Heng is going to start the fight. Ill-advised, but fair enough. Somebody's got to do it. He doesn't commit his whole body to the play. So Heng gets out of this one alive. We've got Burdol going for the Hail Mary push on the top side. It is a Yorick after all, so maybe he just wins the game. Can he win the game faster than BLG, though? We're racing. Oh,
Hostile
Shaoye's
takeover
dead.
is nice, but double kill for Knight. They're killing the Viper, but this feels like the game is just falling apart. Crisp is going to die here. Just stands, he knows. The game is over. Burdol will take a base. But his base is completely broken open.
If I'm Burdol, to be honest, I'm not recalling here. But, you know, you want to give the game your best shot, and that is what he's going to do. Bin explodes Tangyuan's face with the hammer. That was the version of Arcane that was not allowed to be aired. And BLG, they can win the game right now. I think they're going to go for it. They've got the Baroned up minions with them. Heng and Burdol are going to be essentially paper. But then we'd have nothing to compare Shaoye to on this Callista, who is, again, not really able to do anything. The respawn timers have come in, and BLG, I suppose, wary of overextending and of throwing away a gargantuan lead and embarrassing themselves, are going to back away, and it's the clean play.
So without looking, don't look, how many grubs did BLG get? Just quick question.
Okay.
Don't look at the hubs. Okay. You're correct. I was under the impression they got 3 because I thought I didn't see Heng pop up in the feed at all. I'm going to have a quick complaint about the LPL HUD. We need to see the grubs before the quest's complete because I cannot tell who is getting the grubs sometimes. I know it doesn't matter for this game at all, but I'm complaining about it anyway.
Your complaint has been noted. I will pass this
Let
on.
me know when that gets fixed. I know that this is definitely going, we have a lot of say in the matter, so should be able to get that. I don't even know if BLG care about the dragons. They probably do. They'll probably go back to it because they don't have Baron, but maybe we don't even get there. Maybe...
I think they can fish for the end of the game. Like, they
open
don't
nexus.
really need Baron. Yeah, there's nothing going on here but a 12,000 gold lead and Shaoye being exploded on your screen. Tangyuan is doing nothing. Shaoye is not going to get to. Viper is isolated and assassinated by Heng and Burdol. So LGD do find a win here, picking up Viper and ultimately unable to escape, it looks like. Bin gonna pick up the kill on the Yorick. Shun flashing on the full health Heng to destroy him before even taking 200 damage. And it's Crisp and Tangyuan left to watch the Nexus fall. We'll see if Bin can clean some of that up real quick. But it is a 28-minute game. We might hit 29 if BLG decide to play around a little more, but a 12,000 gold lead is going to say plenty. LGD are flattened by BLG in game number 3.
So, who do you vote MVP in a game like that? That's a tough call. That's more what I expected from BLG. Feels like they woke up and big draft gap. Start to the game was great by slipping past some vision, and then the LGD just didn't have a foot in the game at all. But yeah, tough call for MVP. That's the hardest thing about this game is who did the most. I mean, it's probably Knight, but
yeah, I mean, like, what do you, wait, where's our graphic? Where's I want the graphic back about Knight MVPs, because this is another case. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, production. JBetto, look Bernie Sanders in the face and tell me you don't know who's getting MVP.
Yeah, I can't give it to you, Mr. Sanders, but I'm also asking for Knight MVP.
Yeah.
Now, the question becomes, I guess, who is player of the series? Because, you know, if it's Knight in this game,
it's probably Knight.
It was Viper before. It's a tough one. I love this discussion, but I want to quickly talk about the question you asked me before.
Yeah.
How are we thinking, how are we feeling about the rest of the week? If BLG can show up in form like that, I'm feeling pretty damn good. If they show up in form like game number 1, not feeling as confident about that. You know, losing the early game, LGD make a mistake around Baron, that's where you find your advantage, and you still end up losing the game after that. I think we really saw two sides of BLG here. We saw the side that has been swapping out top side and been inconsistent, and then here in game number 3, this is international BLG, where you get 2 kills and both of them feel like they were given to you because BLG just wanted to fight you the entire game, or the entire end of the game at least.
Yeah. I mean, credit to LGD for even finding those kills, because this was a game that, like you mentioned, felt like a chokeout. There were always angles for LGD, or at least always. There were angles for LGD when it started feeling that way at the 1,000, at the 2,000 gold mark. It felt dangerous from BLG. It felt like a game that they were going to close out, and you kept going, LGD, they've got a team fight. Maybe they can make something happen. Heng goes for a play in the river, and from that point on, from the like pseudo team fight that we try and start around Dragon, LGD did completely lose control of the game. And I mean, if we're thinking about it as a chokeout, that's kind of when I think LGD blacked out. They did not get a chance to continue playing. And while I'm sure that their coaching staff will be able to provide them a certain amount of guidance on what they should have done from that point on, it is also a situation where most teams in the world up against a BLG who lose control to that degree are not going to be able to do much about it, because it requires more mistakes from BLG than anything.
Yeah, I mean, props to LGD. If we're going with the getting choked out, they didn't tap.
They did not tap.
They blacked out. And I think the game 1 and 2 were good from LGD. I really do. I think game 1 was great. Game 2, while the top side I wasn't super happy with, they did have some great fights. Tangyuan looked awesome. Shaoye and Crisp looked awesome too. This third game wasn't a whole lot of a game. I think they drafted this comp that was a bit all over the place. Definitely felt like they got out-drafted in this third game to me. And I really think they needed to get off the ground early. I mean, what are you supposed to say about the W there from Kalista? Not seeing Shun dying in the 2v2 that early to the gank. That is a really rough position to like analyze the game from as a coach, as an analyst, because that is maybe good, well played by Shun, but for the most part, it's just really unlucky for the timing, and that costs you so much. That's early gold, level 6 on Shun, and you can't quite find these, you know, the dragon fight goes badly, and the game is just so hard to play from there.
And I also think that, you know, we're talking about the draft. LGD's coaching staff are going to be working with them through what they could have done better in Game 3 naturally, but I'm not going to pretend that LGD's coaching staff couldn't have done better themselves with the draft, with the setup, with the game plan. I think they came into Game 1 with a really solid plan, loved that draft from LGD. Game 2 even looked good, and I think Game 2 is really where LGD are going to focus when they think about playoffs and how they're going to continue looking this season, because that was the game where they could have shut things out against BLG, and they weren't able to. In fact, like we said on paper, we even said this midway through the game, you turn off the nameplates and you think LGD are BLG in the middle of that game too, because of how big of an advantage they have managed to accrue. This game, this last one, it's sort of a fake game. There were so many mistakes happening on all sides that Game 2 is really where I think that LGD need to go back to the drawing board, because they had BLG on the ropes and they were unable to finish off a team that they shouldn't be able to beat, but looked like they could for a second. It is a sort of, you take a shot at the king, you better not miss. They definitely landed in Game 1. Game 2 came up short, and there are a lot of reasons.
Yeah, the BLG definitely looked mortal and wounded in those first 2 games, and they weren't able to finish it off. That Game 3 is a game where you draft a comp like that, you've got, LeBlanc, Kalista, Renata, and that first gank happens, the next dragon fight happens, and you FF the scrims, because there's no point in playing it out. So it is an unfortunate position to be in, and we saw what happens when you do play it out against a team like BLG on stage. You just kind of get run over eventually. And that looked a lot more like BLG. It's good to see them closing out games like that. But yeah, not the best for mental of LGD on stage. Again, I think Game 1 and Game 2 was great. And I agree with you. Game 2 is definitely where you can do the most learning. Whether it's from drafting or how we value the Poppy into Vi now that the changes have come through. Whether it's a build thing, whether it was a playstyle thing. Heng having some of those fights a little bit too fast-paced. But either way, I think LGD do look good. I'm excited to see how they look in playoffs. Contesting some of those, JDG, WE teams. I mean, they beat top esports. They took, they made BLG stress, I would say, pretty heavily.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what they can do in play-ins. But for BLG, they need to have higher expectations for themselves, I think, because, like you said, the expectation from us is a first place or a second place, and that is it. Anything else is underperforming.
And I think LGD, even in the singular win that they were able to get this series, have gotten themselves a really big victory, because this is the top team. This is a team that's competing not even for best in the LPL. I mean, they'd like to be best in the LPL for a third split, but they're competing for best in the world. And LGD were able to take a game off of that team, almost take a series in game number 2. And they've got a lot to be proud of coming out of this series, despite how this third game looked. A quick note that this was not their last match of the split. LGD are going to have at least the singular match up against ThunderTalk to close out the regular season before we head into the playoffs, and that is going to be a really exciting match because ThunderTalk and LGD are now operating on the same field. Both have taken a game off of BLG during the regular season, and both teams, again, despite the look in this last game, are on the come-up.
Yep. Fighting for some play-ins placings towards the end of this week as well. And for BLG, obviously, we've spoken about a bunch. The exciting matches, the AL and the top esports matches that is going to decide where these teams end up. BLG are poised to end first again, but they're going to have to get through those 2 and still sort out their top lane shenanigans. Whatever's going on. Whatever happens, I just hope that play-ins... I think that it is... Actually, no. I'm wrong. They are locked worlds. They're already qualified for worlds. All I want is that when we get to play-ins, playoffs, getting further through that, and then to worlds, that they have their issues sorted. Because this is the time where you need to have the issues, not any further time. I hear MVP. Who is it? It's Knight for this game. I know that. Now for the series.
So I think that the series MVP is likely going to Knight as well, because it was a discussion as to whether he was there in game 2. Remember what the Aurora one-shotting Shaoye around the Drake, the Baron. I think it was the Baron. As much as we like to joke, Knight is one of the best players in the world, and certainly Yeah, I'm just gonna whatever. I can certainly the best player in the LPL. I don't think that's controversial.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. The our producer would like us to know that they might give it to Shun. So that is true.
Maybe.
I would be surprised. Shun's Pantheon was good. I think if they had given him MVP this game, I would believe it. But because Shun's Vi was so bad, I wouldn't. And this is exactly what I would do. This, by the way, is really nice for Knight. This ties him in second for player of the games over the course of the season. And it puts him just one match below Tarzan for player of the matches. He is second in both positions right now for player of the game over the course of the season and player of the match. Undisputedly. An incredible player, very well deserving of these things, and this is exactly what I was talking about. That I think is ultimately the tipping point for me.
Yeah, that is a lot of damage. I think Knight is the one solid rock this team always has. He almost never looks bad, even in the Rise game, where not the best, right? He gets solo killed, the Realm Warp at the end is kind of what seals the deal. He was still doing well in that game and looked really scary and was one of the reasons why they were able to bring that game back. And then obviously, like, his Syndra is one of his most prolific picks. It's a good Syndra meta. I saw a thing on Twitter about her getting buffed. That's probably not real, but if it is, I'm terrified for what's going to happen to the meta, because there are a lot of really strong picks in mid that are getting banned every game, and I don't know.
When I work at Riot and I buff Syndra so that BLG can win.
Yeah, win worlds.
Like, it does. It would be conspiracy theory moment for me, I think, because this champion is so good in the hands of Knight, and we know Knight's going to be at Worlds.